Hi there, my name is Ewan Nicholson. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Remembering Love. The subject of today's video is how healing childhood trauma is relational. And we're going to be looking at just that, why that is the case, and also why it's something that's kind of really easy to forget in the process of healing our childhood trauma. Because on one level, we're in a very, you might say, individualistic society, and the process of healing our trauma often can feel like this thing that we're on that's all about what we do and how we do it and the way we do it, and it's easy to kind of forget the fact that trauma is, in all cases, caused relationally. You know, someone hurt us, someone neglected us, someone abused us, someone violated us. Some trauma was put upon us within the framework of our relationships. And where trauma shows up is in our relationships with ourselves and with others. And what can happen as we're on this kind of healing journey, it's easy to kind of turn this healing process into a list of things that we should be doing in terms of, I'm going to therapy, I'm developing self-care, I'm doing somatic practices, I'm doing my mindfulness, I'm doing my gratitude list, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing the other. And we can start to feel like our healing process is a series of things we're doing kind of to ourselves or with ourselves. It's very much about just ourselves getting better, and that we're kind of really the source of all our problem. And in order to get better and heal, we need to kind of do these things as individuals. And that's very much the society we live in as well. You know, we're in a very, you might say, consumeristic, individualistic, pull yourself up by the bootstraps type of economy and society. And that can kind of filter into the way we understand healing childhood trauma. That's all about us doing what we need to do. But in reality, we're all in relationship, and our hearts end up getting healed by other hearts. And the relationship we have with others is often the measure and the mirror to where we are inside ourselves. So, for instance, part of your trauma is this fear of vulnerability, this fear of being really open, because when you word that way, there was violation or violence, and we associate vulnerability with getting hurt. Then the process of healing that aspect of our wound is our ability to be vulnerable with others, our ability to kind of develop trusting, open, and tender relationships with others. Because that aspect of that wound, the capacity to be vulnerable again, is relational. It's in relation to others. So, for instance, my relationship with my therapist, over the years that I was in that relationship, the relationship itself was healing. And independent of all the various things that I learned and techniques and skills and things that were passed on in the actual method, you might say, within the therapy itself, obviously had immense value. But behind the scenes, there was a sense of trust building up. There was a sense of safety accumulating. There was a feeling of, there was an older male, who my therapist was a male, that I could kind of feel safe with and trust with, which was very in contrary to my relationship with my father. So that part of healing my childhood trauma was relational. It happened in relationship to another. The process of, I grew up really just not liking feeling touched. I didn't like hugs. I thought it was kind of like cringy. There was a sense in me of just feeling squirmy and kind of like, when someone wanted to kind of reach out and connect with me in that kind of way. And that process of regaining my capacity to be affectionate and to receive affection had to happen with people. It didn't matter what therapy I did or whatever, whatever meditation I might employ, like that capacity, particularly with my kids, to re-engage, to reassociate affection and physical touch with something healing and safe, was a relational dynamic. And so I think it's really critical in this process of healing our childhood trauma that we don't forget that it is relational, and that it is about improving our relationships. We're healing not just to feel better inside ourselves and to function as kind of more productive humans within the system. We're healing in order to be close to others, to care for others, to be kind to others, and allow others to be kind and caring towards us. And that's just, on one level, it's like, I guess it's obvious, but I think it is really easy to forget that this healing process is relational. It is about the people in our lives and the way we connect with others in relation to the way we connect and understand ourselves. Others are always going to be a mirror to how we feel towards ourselves. And otherwise, what's the point of this process if it doesn't translate in our relationships? You know, people hurt us, people heal us. That we're not in isolation, that we're not just things bumping into other things. We're this dynamic, co-creating, living beings in this relationship constantly with our environment and with people. And our healing process is relational. So it's just worth keeping in mind, because I know I can kind of at times fall into that trap or that illusion that, yeah, it's just my healing process is a kind of a list of things to do, like a set of exercises that I'll be doing that's going to make me better, rather than my healing process is relational. It is about how I relate to others and where I'm coming from inside myself and the way I connect with others. And the measure of my healing is the measure of how my relationships change, how I relate differently, from isolation, suspicion, distrust, a feeling of like I can't really connect, to a capacity to connect, to trust, to open my heart up, to give, all these kind of things. And there, when I look at my own healing journey, the measure of that journey is showed up in my relationships, my ability to have relationships, my ability not to fear intimacy and connection, my ability to allow myself to be supported by friends, family, and colleagues. So all these kind of things are important things to kind of just keep in mind. So look, I hope that's helped. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and put any comments or feedback in the comment section, and please take care of yourself. Bye-bye.